Hey there, folks. Welcome to an edition of Stranger in a Southern Land. I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning. Today on the program, I speak with the members of Dollar Signs, Dylan, Eric, and Aaron. I'm very happy to have these guys on the program today. I was very excited to have them on. And of course, my audio board exploded right before we had a conversation. But luckily, I have this Blue Yeti microphone, and I think it held up pretty well. So if the audio is a little subpar than most of my other podcasts, that's why. And no, Blue Yeti microphones are not a sponsor of this podcast, but I will be accepting sponsorships if they're interested. Just to let you guys know how well their product worked out. But yeah, very excited to sit down and talk with them. You know, one of my favorite bands that I've seen live, I saw them just one time at the Evening Muse and just became a fan instantly. And I'm pretty sure the reaction is very similar when they travel across the country. And that's the thing, they're a touring punk band. They're playing all types of different places. They're playing like random restaurants. They're playing family-friendly venues. They're playing, you know, hard rock clubs, all kinds of stuff. Like, these guys are out there, they're hitting the road, and just really talented individuals and work well together, like a well-oiled machine. What one guy does really good, another guy isn't all that great at, but he's good at this. And all the pieces have come together for these guys. And musically, like I said, just mind-blowing how awesome these guys are. And just, we talk about the process of being a band, coming together and creating something fantastic. And that is wonderful and great music. And they've got a lot of exciting things coming up here in the next couple of weeks, which we really didn't get into in this podcast. But what I highly recommend that you do, especially after you listen to this podcast, you're like, hey, Dylan, Eric, and Aaron, awesome guys. Want to know more about Dollar Signs? Find them on Facebook, find them on Twitter, find them wherever. I'm sure something very fantastic is going to pop up on your timeline or your feed about what they've got going on. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you follow them. But first, listen to this podcast, because I worked very hard on it, and there's a lot of people that work hard for me, most notably Shining Wizards Network. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do for me, and make sure you support them at shiningwizardsnetwork.com. Also, too, my producer Don, big thank you to him. And hey, if you want audio services or if you want podcast services, if you're looking for a producer to make you look like a pro, because like I've said for the last couple weeks, Don makes Jake Manning look like a pro. He can do the same for you. So make sure you look him up at dsct.tv for all your podcasting and audio services needs. Now, as always, I've got a couple of dates, but I'm just limiting them to 2 for this podcast because I want to get into this conversation as quickly as possible. I want to let you guys know about Saturday, January the 7th, 11 p.m. at the Evening Muse. The all-organic open mic, which I host, will be returning to the Evening Muse. For more information about that show, make sure you log on to theeveningmuse.com. Tickets are only $3, guys. It's an 11 p.m. show. It's going to get crazy. It's going to be raunchy. It's going to be all kinds of different things. And it's only $3, guys. I highly recommend that you come out to the Evening Muse Saturday, January 7th, 11 p.m. in the NoDa district of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Sunday, January 15th, I'll be wrestling for PWX Wrestling at pwxpro.com for more information about that show. That show will be taking place in Gastonia, North Carolina. And the last time we were there, we had quite a few people. Like a couple times ago, it was almost close to a sellout and standing room only, guys. So I highly recommend that you could check your tickets right now. I highly suspect that this one is going to be a big one as well. Like I said, pwxpro.com, Sunday, January the 15th. I highly recommend, and I will see you there. I will have my t-shirts and my other stuff available. I'll be doing it DIY, much like Dollar Signs, who are on the program today. But as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter. As always, I am available on Twitter at ManScoutManning, and at ManScoutManning on Instagram. If you have a question about this podcast, make sure you email me at jake@sslshow.com. Or if you're going to book me for an upcoming wrestling event, make sure you email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. Now, without further ado, let's sit down with Dylan, Eric, and Aaron of Dollar Signs here on Stranger in a Southern Land. I do a big intro, but if you guys could please say your name.
Sure.
Just so we got kind of an audio tag here so everybody knows, oh, that voice is that person.
Sure.
So go ahead, start on the horn.
My name is Eric Button. I sing and play guitar in the band Dollar Signs.
My name is Dylan Walkman, and I scream and play bass in the band Dollar Signs.
My name is Aaron Chamberlain, and I play drums.
There we go.
I feel like Dylan and I's voices sound very similar. So,
So the audio
everyone's
tech good
gonna-
enough. So everybody's just gonna have to run to the video portion of the show anyways,
Yeah.
just to figure it all
Right.
out. But no, guys, thank you for welcoming me into your home.
Sure.
Eric, when we were talking about putting this together, you're like, yeah, real easy. We all live together. How do you guys deal with that? Like, how do you contend with that? Because this is kind of a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I believe that the comment that I made when I walked in, I go, oh, I just looked for the house that looked like had the house of the people who everybody hates in the neighborhood.
Right.
And found the house real easily. No problem.
Well, I actually bought this house, which is like the least punk rock thing to do.
Okay, so these guys are the freeloaders of the group.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I'm just a landlord, which is like the least punk rock thing in the world. But like literally, there's like one of those houses because it backs up. There's like a creek in the backyard, and then there is like no house until way over there. The people who live over there are pretty cool. So like,
Okay.
yeah, like we have band practice here when we have band practice. And we try to be respectful. Like we don't do it in the middle of the night, but no one's complained yet. So
No,
it's fine.
the neighbor farthest from us on the left had no idea because I'll see her out there with her dog sometimes. I'm like, hey, do you ever hear like a band
Yeah.
playing? And she's like, oh no, I had no idea. So I guess this soundproofing worked.
Yeah.
Have,
Yeah, and obviously
okay.
no
There's
one
a
can see it,
soundproof
but- Yeah,
curtain
so
over there.
like that the whole inside of that room is just like catacombed with soundproofing.
like plastic and foam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it, especially I'm sure banging on the drums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a band that practices in my business park, and I haven't figured out where it's coming from yet. Supposedly it's some warehouse, and I can't figure it out because it echoes through the whole place.
Sure.
So the fact that you can contain all the sound in a residential area is very impressive.
Well,
Well,
our last house experience was pretty bad.
yeah, our next door neighbor at our last house hated our guts, and she put a noise complaint on our door saying like, "Oh, I get home from work," but she misspelled noise, so it said noise.
Noise.
So it was a noise complaint.
He was like, please keep down the noise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sleep at 6 p.m.
She was doing very passive aggressive stuff and like leaving notes all the time, and like we'd see her and she'd just be very snide. And it was just, yeah.
Oh, I know that feeling. That's the feeling I have. I'm waiting to get a noise complaint for just recording a voiceover for a podcast.
Sure.
Like I've had people leave notes about not rolling up the garbage pail.
Yeah.
At like 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
In my neighborhood. So yeah, in my neighborhood, I'm the house that everybody hates.
Yeah. I mean, like, we definitely are too. Like, we get written up by the HOA all the time because, like,
Which, once again, not very punk rock.
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh, these damn like 65-year-old women, they're after me because there's weeds growing in our driveway.
One time, a car parked on the side of the road was touching the grass, and they wrote a note for that. They wrote us up.
As if we were
Yeah.
leaving like a washing machine or something in our front yard.
It's just, I feel like when people run out of problems, they create problems for themselves, and that's, the HOA is pretty much that.
Yeah, they got a comfortable living, a nice environment, and these young kids.
Yeah.
And their dreams and their rock and roll
Oh,
come moving in.
Yep, and all the crazy amount of people we always have over. Not really.
No, never.
We never have anyone over.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you guys do? Like, like when you hang out? I know it's wrestling because we've talked about it before.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of watching
A lot of
wrestling.
wrestling.
I mean, I think that's honestly the thing that we probably do the most together that's not, like, band related. Just because, like, I work a lot, and, like, we all work a lot. And so, like, really the thing that we always do together, though, is watch wrestling.
We're just on such different schedules. You know, I wake up at like 4 p.m. every day, but I go to bed at like 8 a.m. So, because I work from home. I
Okay.
do social media work. It's kind of like whenever I want to do it, and I've just always been a night person.
are you one of those guys that we see the ads for? Like, if you want to be a social media person, that you could set your own hours. Like those glass door jobs that are out there that seem made up a little bit.
I would
Not
definitely
to belittle you,
No,
the way
no,
you make
not
a
at all.
living or anything. Although it sounded like I did.
It's definitely when you read descriptions of jobs like that, they do seem like too good to be true.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of companies that are really false, but the one that I work for is legit. It's for real. And I do graphic design, so everything I do is just freelance and basically just in my sweaty office all day long.
Mm-hmm. And Eric, I know you're in video production and other such things like that.
Yeah.
So you're in front of a computer a lot.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've worked there for 2 years, and I think I've gained like 75 pounds in the 2 years that I've been. Just like, because before I was either always like, I was a janitor, or I was a waiter, or I was a delivery driver, which involves at least standing up a lot. But then, like, as soon as you get into that office life, man, you just become Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, it's a trick that I've been able to get out of. Not just because I work out all the time, but I also trick myself in the office. I have a computer in one end of the office, and then the completely other end of the office I have another computer. So I'm working on two computers at the same time. So I'm literally working at one computer for like an hour or whatever, and then I'm walking over the other computer, work on there for an hour, and then I'm back over there. Like, I'm switching workstations probably 9 times in a day.
Nice.
So I'm walking on the other end so I don't get that everything blood collecting in that one spot. So
yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah,
or the guys that do the computer standing up, like game developers,
desk?
standing desk guys.
Yeah.
Or if you work at Red Ventures.
Well, or if you're Tony Stark, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or, you know, like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I think with video editing, it's weird because it's so, like, you have to look at it so intensely.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't really, I mean, because, like, for me, like, I'll show up and then I just black out because I just, like, fall into just the process of it. And then I like, come to for lunch and then like to leave. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, luckily I'm real bad at it, so I just like, yep, that's good enough. I'm done. So if you're good at it, you probably
I'm still awful. I just fail with a lot of energy.
He said with an Emmy.
Yeah. Well, nothing.
Those ages ago, and that's a doorstop now.
Doorstop. Pawned it.
Yeah, but Aaron, what do you pound in the concrete with these days?
I work at a pizza place for now. It's just a shitty job.
And you're in better shape than he is? No, I'm kidding.
An arm wrestling competition.
I just hide everything.
My girlfriend works at a pizza place, and it is the most tempting thing ever. Like, and especially like, she gets home late at night, and she brings home, and it's Mellow Mushroom. So you get that good pizza late in the middle of the night. Like, I'm screwed every time. Screwed every time.
That place is excellent.
It is. It's fantastic. She's a guru. She opens up like all the places, so she knows the ins and outs of the whole company. So.
You can get a bacon avocado pizza there. So good.
Oh yeah! By the way, our band is sponsored by Mellow Mushroom, so
really this podcast is also sponsored by it too, a little bit. So, but anyways, like we've talked about, like just mundane things.
No, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I'm sure the listeners and the viewers are loving it as well.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Little nitpicky.
Do you want to hear about how I watched an entire season of 30 Rock last night?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I did.
You sure are living the life. You work at a pizza place and you had time to do that? Get out of here.
I would say a major theme of our band is how mundane we are.
Yeah.
I think that's like a major running thing.
Was that the
about
common
music that we
bond
make.
for you guys? Like how did you, like, hey, you're mundane. Hey, let's
Yeah,
start a
I
band.
mean, like, not,
I don't know how it works.
not like mundane, but I guess just like I like our band because everyone in it doesn't look like we play music. Okay. Like anytime you show up to like a punk rock show, you pretty much always can guess who plays music in the band, and then like we'll walk through the door and we just look like IT guys, basically.
They have no idea. Like I remember once in Lansing, Michigan, they like almost didn't believe me when I said that we were playing later that night, and she was like, "What's the band name?" Oh, yeah, well, what's your last album called? Like she had all these questions.
Hold on, I'm looking you up.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like this guy, like just showing up at like 6 o'clock in the middle of the day, this like bar in Michigan.
Just
like,
want to sound check, man.
Hey, what's the story with all this? I don't know. I think what really brings us all together is we really like punk rock, but we don't fall into all the like, cliche sort of like partying all the time, because we're just really like self-conscious, like all of us, really self-aware and anxious, and I don't know. Like, I feel like we write party songs, but at the same time, we're all just like super normal guys who just love
Who never go to parties.
Never
Yeah.
party ever.
So
Like, my only experience with parties would be you and I would go to architecture party, like the architecture school at UNC Charlotte when we were in college. And basically, that just went down. I would bring a case of beer and just get drunk with basically just him. And then chain smoke cigarettes outside and then either fall asleep. Or the cops would show up and have all the underage kids leave. And we would always be stoked on that because we could just steal their beer.
Yep.
And that was pretty much the extent of my party life.
Yeah, party.
But just that. But like you said, your commonality like was punk rock. Like, well, were you guys something like? I know very little about music. Like,
Sure.
I am. When it comes to music, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if it's because I'm a redhead and I'm soulless. Like, I don't it doesn't compute with me. I could literally listen to like Wu-Tang Clan and then go to Elvis Presley and
Sure.
it's the absolute same emotion. And it means nothing to me. But who are the like bands that like really like this is what I want to do musically? Because like I can name like 20 different wrestlers that inspired me in my art form, but who are the people that inspired you in your art form?
First of all, that's totally okay. The last person that interviewed us locked us inside of a room for 2.5 hours and talked at us about prog rock. So this is like already a million times better.
I dated a girl for like a short period of time that was super into heavy metal. And she was telling me about the genres of metal, and like she's like, you don't understand about desert metal. I'm like, what? Like, I like the Black Album. Oh, and then she hated me for that. And then I'm like, okay, kill them all. I'm throwing stuff out here now.
Right. That's awesome.
I have to look up desert metal.
Desert
metal's a genre, apparently.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I think our band, I think the reason why we work well together is because we pretty much all have very similar music tastes. I can listen to folkier stuff and he can listen to more screamo kind of stuff. But like, there's a lot of common ground. Like, I would say like our main people that we like are like this guy named Jeff Rosenstock, who used to play in a band called Bond Music Industry. This is gonna go like all over everybody's head. Yeah, I guess he's famous now, but
he got number one album in USA Today.
We're just
for this year.
I think to really put it in the most basic sense, we're all just really into punk rock that does more than just your traditional, 1, 2, 3, 4 chord songs. We really like punk songs that find ways to like cleverly weave pop in, and I think the band that probably did that the best in their career was The Clash. I mean, and I wouldn't say that we sound like The Clash, but sort of just that mentality of really doing everything you can with a genre.
Because I know The Clash and stuff like that. At least you said somebody that you know. You were like FMS punk metal, and I'm like, okay, if that's your influence, good for you. But like, but The Clash, I know what you mean. There's a certain like happiness to it, but there's like the lyrics are very heavy. There's a shininess to it and something very dirty and stuff like that.
Sure.
They just found really interesting ways to like retool a genre of music and make it really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think like we all really like ska music, so and sure that's like super like it's like a meme on the internet now, like ska, but just really different and unique ways to do punk rock.
Well, like, how do you define punk rock? Because like somebody listening to this could be
boy.
like, somebody could be like, yeah, I really like Blink-182, or
Sure.
Green Day, and that falls in their
Sure.
what they consider punk. But what do you guys consider punk? And you can be as snobby as you want. So
Yeah. That is so. I mean, I don't know. I think it's more like, to me, it's more of an ethos than it is like even music or a fashion statement.
It's so broad now that
like,
it has
yeah,
to be
exactly.
ethos.
Like, because like to me, I think that like I would consider like Tom Waits punk. Or I think that anyone that tries to go against the norms of what other people are doing are punk. Which makes it weird because that means like even punk bands are not punk sometimes. Like it just gets really confusing.
Well, it's tough. I mean, to be a contrarian for like the sake of being a contrarian.
Yeah.
See, I don't think that's very punk. I think that's just you're
Well,
intentionally doing the
it's because I'm a
opposite.
contrarian.
Sure.
That's the problem.
I feel like punk is just about rebelling against the powers that be, and it's always been, punching up rather than punching down.
Subversive.
That
Ditto, Aaron.
was
I mean,
well said.
I mean, like we, for a long time, like we put out our music for free, which is and we still do. We probably always will, because a lot of the punk bands we listened to growing up did the same thing, where there's just the idea is more interesting than like the product, as far as I guess the commodity is the better word.
Well, and it seems like that's the setup for music in general. Is that here's our music, and you want to get them to come out to your live shows because that's where you guys make the money.
Yeah, totally.
Like that seems to be the business model now.
Yeah.
In music in general.
Well, yeah, it's because, I mean, like, unless you are Beyonce or something, like, you're not going to make money making music. And, like, if you start to make music because you want to be famous or, like, if you want to make money, like, you're just a very dumb person. Because, like, the energy that it takes to make it in music, you could definitely just go be a lawyer or something. Like, it takes a lot of work. Maybe not a lawyer, but, like, it takes a lot of work that you
A manager.
Yeah. You could, I don't know. It's like I mean, like, because and there's definitely people like even at the open mic that will come in and they're like, they just think that the reason why they're not famous is because people haven't found them yet, as opposed to like working at it. But like, you're not gonna be famous probably. Like it's possible, but probably not.
Yeah, because it's a matter of luck. It's a matter of timing. And we haven't even talked about like talent. Like
no.
That has nothing to do with it.
Totally.
There's definitely a lot of luck involved, and we're an interesting group because like before I even joined this band, I liked Eric's songs, and I've always done like band management stuff, so we just click. Like to be in a band, as much as I'm trying to like say that it's not a business and fuck money and like the whole punk ethos, there still is like a lot of business to it if you want to do anything with it. So like I don't know, it's just really hard. Like it's a ton of work, and you have to work for free for years before you really see anything out of it. I mean, all the money we make, we just reinvest into the band. I think the most we've ever taken from anything we've done is what, like
it was from tour last year.
$200 each, like after a tour.
Yeah,
that's
it.
That's like the only money we've ever like taken.
Yeah, but does that feel good? Like it's got to, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like not enough to where it's like I can go do something with it and like significant, but it also is enough to where I would just rather put it back in the band and do a run of T-shirts or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Turn the 200 into 800 or whatever.
Just keep the wheel moving down the road.
Yeah.
As opposed to cashing your chips and
totally
have a nice meal with it or do whatever.
Yeah.
But you talk about before you got in, you guys forming and becoming a band. To kind of put in perspective how difficult that can be, at least for me, is I was just in a 6-man tag team match, and they're all guys that I respected and expected everybody's opinion, and everybody had a different idea of how this match was supposed to go.
Sure.
And we only were going to wrestle for 10 minutes, and we've all wrestled each other, we all know each other's stuff. But putting that thing together was almost next to impossible. This is one match that's going to go for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And everybody has different ideas, different thoughts, different perspectives, opinions. 2 people like this, 2 people like this, people this. And all of a sudden somebody forgets what we're doing. And it's just this. It literally took 3 hours to put together a 10-minute match. And towards the end of it, I had to remove myself because I was getting frustrated of all these people's opinions coming together.
Sure.
How do you guys manage that in a band that was just a 10-minute match? You guys are living, touring, writing songs, albums, marketing, all these things. How do you guys manage your guys' personalities?
I think first of all, it's because we like what we're doing, and also we like each other. Like, because originally the band was just Luke and I. We were just a 2-piece acoustic thing, and like my whole thing was like I didn't want to start a band unless it was with people that were my friends, because most musicians I probably wouldn't get along with, especially because we do a pretty like specific sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like it's fun.
Well, it plays into like our personalities just working together because we all have different skills. Like, you know, we would probably be hiring someone to do videos if Eric didn't do videos. Same thing for graphic design if I didn't do it. And Aaron is so good at like sending out all of our merch and stuff like for the mail order that we do. So I mean, we really just all have our jobs. They were all self-appointed too because it's all just what we're the best at.
Yeah.
Like I do all the booking because
Right.
I'm just always on my computer and talking to people. So it's just, I don't know, it kind of just came naturally. It was, I've never even thought of it like that, really. That I
Yeah.
guess other bands probably have run into that issue.
Right, and also and usually for like songwriting, it's usually like I'll write a semblance of a thing that's horrible, and then I'll bring it to them and just be like, all right, let's work on this and like try and make it good. Because like that I always wrote songs before is I would try and write them just to play them at open mics by myself, and so I've kind of continued that, but then also there's less pressure now because now I know that we're all going to work on it together, which is nice because it means that I usually just overwrite a song and then we're just like, all right, what can we take out of this and turn it into something that's good? Because like, I don't think anyone in the band really has like a big ego about the things that we create. I think that for us, it's just like, all right, like no matter what, like nothing is off the table of getting cut or changed and when we're writing something. Like it's all malleable because we're just trying to make the best songs. Like nothing is precious to me anyway. Like I'm okay to kill any like baby idea that I have to make it just like a better thing in the end.
Yeah, like,
go ahead.
No,
like we've had like songs before that were done, and then we will literally cut it in half and turn it into 2 songs.
Yeah,
because you know, I mean, we're not, like you said, we're not pretentious about anything. We just legitimately think that you know, turning out the best product is the best thing we could do. Because like, who cares about our ideas? They're not as precious as like the product we might create.
Yeah, but it's art in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure.
you came up with something. You're like, no, it doesn't get to the point like, I was the motherfucker that wrote this down on a piece of paper, and now you're telling me to take it out. You guys just have a blank sheet, but like that takes a considerable amount of security in yourself and your everybody's opinions.
Yeah, well, like a couple. Like I would say first, I don't think I'm a genius. Like I don't think that I'm a smart person. So
Well, I'm not saying that, but like they're
so
like your
I have
ideas. Like
yeah.
I had an idea.
Well-
You guys had nothing. Like I have like.
Well, I mean, also just like I think working in video and like being an English major and just writing for pretty much my whole life, like I'm of the sincere thought that like art does not happen in like the first impulse of an idea. I think art happens in revisions, which is why like for me the exciting part is not like the first things that I write down. It's like once you do it over and over and over and over again until you sort of hate it, but like that's how you like make something that's good.
Yeah, and we all trust each other.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
But
you
is
know.
that where it comes from? Is the trust?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it-
yeah, for sure.
There's like you trust his opinion, you trust their opinion.
There was a time we just finished up an EP, and there was a song that we had conversations about for almost 3 months, trying to figure out how to fix it. And we all put our ideas on the table and tried every single one, and then, you know, even if we disagree with each other, we trust each other enough to let something fly and just roll with it. Because you know, we're all in this together. We all have to like it.
Where did that trust come from? Because like back to my analogy of the 6 guys, it got to about like 5 minutes before going out there, and I just want to be like, shut the fuck up, this is what the fuck we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like somebody needed to say that. But like, where does that trust come in each other? Like that you trust that Dylan's good, you know, gonna come up with
Sure.
something good, or Aaron's gonna be able to throw in something like
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Like where did that trust form? How did that happen?
I mean, like music is weird because it like at least to me, I think it's usually like we'll be playing something that's new, and then someone will say like this part doesn't feel right to me, and then usually like we just all just try to listen to like what that means, like let's try to figure out why this may not work for somebody. And then if something else can work better, let's do that instead. And like, and really, I just think that the trust comes from the fact that we all have very similar music tastes. So it's like, all right, do the people that we love, would they do something like what we're doing here? Not to say that like we're trying to like copy them or anything like that, but like there definitely is.
Also, like, could you imagine hearing it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, Eric's super into folk music and like that kind of stuff. He said that earlier. So if he wants to do like a folky part in a song and we have it and we're doing it, you know, I totally trust his take on it because that's where he comes from. You know, and if we're doing like a heavy, like a hardcore kind of part in a song, you know, I feel like the ball is kind of in my court to be able to piece that part together or produce it in a sense. So, I mean, we really just have no qualms with each other and their their origins or like the things that they do and that they're good at. Because I mean, and again, it just comes down to like the trust of it all. We all just know who each other is and we all know who we are. I think so well to the point we all just really want it. We want to do the band the best that we possibly can, and we're just all willing to hear each other out. I know this is like super non-conflict. Like we're all just like really nice to each other.
Yeah, you've ruined the whole podcast. I was looking for conflict. I was looking for hate. I was hoping you guys were going to break up on camera.
Yeah.
I was going to get a recording.
Eric and I got into a huge argument one time because he said that biscuits were better than bagels.
Oh, yeah. What a day.
And
I made that a Facebook post too.
That was almost it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that was almost it.
I know what side I'm on.
I
And it's the right side of history.
How do you feel? What do you say?
You know what? I gotta go with biscuits because I like the flaky, like the moistness of it. But I will say this though: I've never been in a geographic location where I've had a good bagel. Like I've had people like I've been in New York and I've had some bagels up there. I'm like, oh, this is far better than any other bagel I've gotten anywhere else.
Sure.
But I still gotta stick with like the biscuits, especially if you peel them open. There's a little bit of flakiness to it. I'm just big on the flakiness and the doughiness.
I just think they're so greasy.
Depends where you get it from.
See, we're all
Popeyes, Bojangles.
Because when you eat a biscuit, you have
We're
to.
going there.
You have to wash your hands when you're done. Like you have to, because it's so greasy. But when you
That's
eat a
what you
bagel,
wear T-shirts for.
I got jeans.
See, most biscuits I have are floury, not greasy.
show me a floury biscuit, and I'll reconsider.
Okay, I'll bring one over.
Sure.
We're diving deep.
Yeah.
Diving deep.
We'll get into the crux of it.
Yeah, really getting into
real
the
crux of it.
weeds.
Biscuitville sucks. All right, I'm done.
You know, I don't
I'll
really
cut
care for
you.
Biscuitville.
I'll cut you.
Bullshitville. That place sucks.
I'd rather eat
will
at like
cut both
Popeyes
of you.
or Bojangles.
One time Eric dragged
okay.
me to a Biscuitville after a festival we played because he was like, "Oh man, we don't have these in Charlotte. They're only open till noon. We gotta go," because we were like awake. And he's all excited, and I already knew I wasn't gonna like it because I don't like biscuits. But just the sheer joy made me hate it so much more, especially after this debate. Because you go in there and it's just shit on biscuits, and they're only open till noon, and everything's like $6.
Yeah, it's the weirdest place ever, but gosh, is it so good.
Oh, and
It's
I love
so
it.
good.
I love it.
So good.
When I was in high school, I used to wait out behind the dumpsters, like, because they closed at 2:00, and so we would go out there at 2:30 and just wait by the dumpsters, and then like this little old Hispanic woman would just be like, "Oh, you want these biscuits we were gonna throw away?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
You would just eat the dumpster biscuits.
Yeah,
Dumpster
they were
biscuits.
put in the dumpster. That's like the most punk rock thing.
That was the
like the
best
closest
idea.
I ever came to being a crust punk. Really, I was just like a fat kid.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I only drink bottled water.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
not punk rock at all.
But even just arguments like that, the fact that you guys live together and you have to travel together. Like, one guy that I travel with a lot, and he's like my little brother, and we work in the same office together.
Mm-hmm.
We, in the last couple of years, have stopped talking to each other on work days because we know that when we go on the road, we'll have nothing to talk about because we're two totally different people.
Sure.
But, like, we get stuck in situations where we're traveling with each other all the time. And to put up with that, we don't talk at all, like, during work, like, through Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Because we know we're going to see each other, sleep in the same hotel room, and just deal with each other the Friday, and then even the Saturday on the way back home, and then go through another week, and then have to do it all over again.
That's a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mechanical.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
awesome. You're saving it up.
I wish I didn't have to talk to Eric for 4 days.
Yeah,
But how do you
go crazy when
or how do you guys manage that? Like I like maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me that I'm such an antisocial person.
No.
But at the same time too, like how do you guys manage the fact that you live together and then you have to travel together? Because when you said that, I was like, man, I can't imagine the fights they get into. Like I might be going into.
No, I mean like honestly, and I think a big part with us is just like we really like discussing other like new shit we're gonna do with the band. Like, cause like for me, like the thing that I love most is working on stuff like that. So just like for me, like I can just ramble on for hours about just like bullshit ideas I have for music videos or something.
Oh, it's true.
Like,
Yeah.
We'll just be like, how sick would it be if that song we were talking about, the concept, the one about eating a lot, what if there was like 20 seconds of silence? You know, just like, we're just always forever discussing
Or
it.
creating like other like fake band names and stuff.
yeah.
Just like doing shit like that.
Yeah, talking about starting a hardcore band
Yeah.
called Knife Guys.
Like, I mean, like, honestly, I feel like my entire life has just been, like, the people that I'm closest friends with are people that I just, like, work on stuff creatively. Like, not to say that I don't have friends that are, like, non-creative people that I can just, like, go and get drunk with, which is fine. But, like, all my best friends are always people that I, like, work on stuff with. Because it's, like, the thing that I like doing the most.
You want to tell them about the board game?
I mean, we're making a board game.
You're making
Nice story.
one.
Well, we were just talking one day in one of these like many creative conversations, and we were just like, how sick would it be if we made a board game?
Is that how you start every pitch? How sick would it be?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, usually it's like, oh, like, we should do this thing. It will be so much, like, a fucking insane amount of work for very little payoff. Yeah, let's fucking do it. That sounds awesome. That's pretty much every single idea that we have.
That's why that's why Eric edits together, 2-minute, 3-minute long videos to promote like a single show that we have booked.
Yeah, the 35 people will
It's
show
like
up
the
for
6
it.
hours of work.
Let's do it.
Just because it's like if you're really passionate about your work, you just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
like you just gotta do it.
I mean, like, especially because like my whole mentality is always just like, I'm never gonna be great at what I do. Like, there's always gonna be better guitar players or like anything like that. But like, I just want, when I die, people to be like, that guy tried so fucking hard. like I want to be like Ed Wood, just like even if I'm just shitty at everything, like I just want people to just be like, that guy tried so fucking hard, even though he was awful at it, which is questionable, whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. Trying, it's fun. Try things. What were we talking about?
The board game.
We fucked that
Board
up
game.
so bad.
I mean, I think the takeaway is just that if we are not doing something, that will be changed almost immediately because we're always doing something. I mean,
There's always an idea. There's always
it's
something
endless.
else.
Yeah. I've been for the past 2 days just nonstop watching how to make puppets on YouTube because of some idea that I have.
Some wacky idea we have.
But you gotta have that passion, and the fact that you guys are all working towards a common goal, I guess that's probably why it works out pretty well for you. Where it's like,
Yeah, sure.
like me and Mason, and Caleb, we got our own separate goals. Like, he has his career, I have my career. So
Yeah,
it's
sure,
like
sure.
we're running parallel to each other. But
Yeah.
you guys, when you do something, it's towards something.
If one of us dies, we're all fucked.
oh, we're
Yeah,
fucked.
it's
I have already told them that if I die, that they could go on without me. I don't want the 12 hours a day in front of my computer putting together press packages to be in vain.
Yeah,
So-
well, but that's the thing. Like, you when you talk about doing emails and stuff like that, like, I've got a list at home right now of emails I've been putting off to send because it's like, after Thanksgiving it gets really slow, but it's like a constant thing of always sending out those emails, setting up a booking, doing those things. Like, talk about just the monotonous stuff. You have
Oh, it's
to, like,
awful.
Yeah, like standing on a stage and playing music is like 5% of being in a band.
yeah, people don't get that. And
Yeah.
people don't understand
I mean,
that.
so same thing with wrestling. I'm
Any
sure.
artist, like, whether you
Yeah.
stand up, pro wrestler, even musician, they don't understand that there's so much just to get to that stage.
Right.
Is the far difficult part of it all.
Right.
We try to book all ages shows, so it's extra difficult because we find that when we play in towns that we've never been, we're always disappointing somebody who's underage. So and that that's really messed up, because of alcohol laws or whatever. So going forward, and of course, like with all the tours, I've tried to book as many all ages shows as possible, but I think I'm shooting for only all ages shows on this next tour. So it just makes the emailing so much worse. Because, a lot of those places are really big, like, $8 beer venues. But, we're not there yet. So I have to find, like, houses and DIY spaces, like just a warehouse that might throw shows in the middle of Boston. It's just, And there's these cool, like, tight-knit little art scenes that make all this stuff possible. But finding them is really hard. Because if they were easy to find, they'd be shut down. That's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
The cops would be there, and it would be over.
Yeah.
So...
we can't have a considerable amount of people gathered in this warehouse and,
Yeah.
regulation and all kinds of things.
It's just one of those things. And, when you send an email out for booking, you might not hear back for a week. And then you have to send out other emails. But then, like, depending on who gets back to you, you kind of have to juggle 3 different promoters in one town. And, like, try to figure out which one to go with. And, like, also the potential for the 2 other ones not responding to your emails ever again because you ignored them after they offered you a show. So there's just, there's a lot of, like, eggshell walking and, like, super trying to be as polite as possible when trying to book a tour, play a shitty punk show 800 miles from your house. That's just hard. It's really difficult to book, like, 3 weeks of that. Because every date really comes down to, I would almost just say, luck. Like, finding that person that wants to do it for you.
Yeah. And getting them all in a row at the right time,
Yeah,
the right
yeah,
money. And
the route.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
You want to be, and especially you want something on the way back home.
Absolutely.
But,
Right.
like, they say, like, well, really, our best day is, Thursday. But it's like, but we already got something on that Thursday on the way, but you're on the way back, and yeah.
Right.
it's
I
difficult.
mean, you definitely don't also want to, like, end up in, like, Chicago on, like, a Tuesday night. Like, you want to make sure
Yeah.
that you play those kind of towns on, like, the weekends. That's
Yeah, like
craziness.
A markets on weekends, and like there's sometimes you can find like a good C and B market show. When I say C and B market, I mean like Chapel Hill, North Carolina, or like Athens, Georgia. Just like small towns that have a good music scene. So finding like Tuesday night shows there is typically so lucky and great, but it's just not always possible. But yeah, the routing is really tough because like. I think on our last tour, we just wound up like playing like a restaurant like on a Monday in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because we had to go from in between Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, and those are like so far away. So
it was not it was a like 200-year-old brewery
It was a brewery. That's
that
right. Yeah.
was like colonial themed.
but
it was a
apparently
brewery family restaurant.
apparently
thing,
they have
too.
6 shows.
Yeah.
And the kid who booked us said he booked a show there, and Daniel Bryan was there. He showed up to one of his shows. Isn't that weird?
That's
What?
He was just in town.
I didn't know
They
that.
just walked in.
That's insane.
Bryan Danielson. That's crazy.
In fact, there was a brewery and he doesn't drink, and it's like, yeah, sure, show in. Even more impossible.
Oh yeah, I doubt they had any like vegan food either because they were all like big on the lamb chops.
Yeah,
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like super.
Like medieval
Old
food.
world.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool looking place, but
Turkey legs.
Maybe he was going to check out the punk bands or something.
I don't know.
Hey, you heard they have 6 shows there.
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah.
They set up the drums on the floor. It was super weird. But that's just what happens when you book tours because you never know where you're going to be on a Monday night in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
And you're just not phased by those situations?
No, I mean, we're trying like to take Mondays off because it's just so hard to find something
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that show actually ended up being really great. We made all the money we needed to make, and we sold stuff. And
everybody was really nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Everybody there was like awesome.
It's not to say that it was a bad experience,
No.
but it's just a Monday.
Yeah.
Mondays are tough.
We
Mondays
are
are-
lucky here in Charlotte to have like the Mondays that we do, like
Yeah.
the open mic, but like not every town has that.
Definitely.
For sure. But when you go to these towns, like I said, just Lancaster, like is it a situation that you're building an audience and then they're going to follow you and listen to your music, or are you going places that like, hey, we've got 5 fans in this town, or like
It's that one.
Yeah.
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 That's the one
it's
we
kind
shoot
of that.
okay,
Yeah.
Modern technology has really allowed us to see where people are listening to our music. Thanks Google for tracking everyone's locations all the time. But like, Spotify will straight up tell us like, hey, there's 40 people in Chicago who listen to you every week.
Yeah.
And then we can take that data and say playing in Chicago on a Saturday makes sense. And then if we see like we need like a Lancaster sort of show, I think we played Akron, Ohio on our last tour. We saw that we had like four people in Akron, and that's not like a lot, but 4 people on like a Monday or Tuesday, like that's totally worth it. If you got to complete that route.
And that was actually a pretty
That was a great show
pretty
too.
good show.
It all just works out. I mean,
There
it's,
was a lot of people. It was fun.
the punk rock scene is just so tight knit, and everybody is so friendly, and they just want to help because it always comes back to you. I mean, like we all used to book shows at a DIY space in Charlotte, and we made so many friends doing that booking tours after that became so much easier. It's just it's an underground scene that really feeds itself. It's like an Ouroboros, which could also be a metaphor for it being a complete waste of time. But you never know because it's like super fun and it's really cool when your friends make it. Because it happens all the time.
Just there's those weird paths and stuff like that, and you're just looking for that luck. Like, you know, like is there anybody that are doing the things that you're doing that you try and emulate? Like that's something that's always big with me ever since wrestling, or you know, especially now that I'm getting, you know, doing stand-up comedy. Like, oh, this guy did it like this, or this guy did it like this, and he went to this place and that. Is there anybody that you try and follow?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
definitely.
Like a roadmap.
I mean, I look literally at maps. I look literally at where bands our size have toured, and I follow their routes. And I say, "Oh, this is a place I've never heard of." Like, let me just think of. There's a place called Mr. Roboto Project in Pittsburgh. It's like a DIY space.
That place was
And
pretty cool.
I didn't know about it until I saw my friend's band. They toured through and they played there. And then I literally just looked them up on Facebook and sent them a message, and we had a show booked in like an hour. So yeah, I mean, like literally looking at the roadmap to figure out places to play in like towns we've never been to.
And we spend a lot of time doing this too. Like, I mean, especially Dylan, but like we have nights where we talk about this. Like that's the thing that we do.
We have meetings.
We
Like
have
business
meetings. We have business
Yeah.
meetings for our band.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
like
so punk rock,
I would
I
also
swear.
say in the same breath though, we also will like look and see what maybe assets that we have as a band, and be like, all right, what is like the one weird thing that we can do that nobody else can do? I mean, like, especially when it comes to like graphic design stuff, or like just because of my job, I have access to very nice music gear. It makes it so like we can make music videos that are just like higher production quality than like most DIY bands can put together. Like, I think like that's a big part of it though, just like trying to see what assets we have that we can do that maybe no one else would either think of or like couldn't do.
Yeah, because like, you know, making a commercial is not a new thing, but making a commercial Facebook only for a show that's coming up, that's like kind of a new thing
For
like,
a band our
like,
size too.
Yeah, for a band our size, like no one's really doing that because
Yeah.
like you see like a lot of bigger bands in the punk scene, you know, they're like touring with like Real Big Fish or like NoFX, and they have access to the label's assets where they can just pump money into like promotion, and like that's sick, that's awesome, I'm all for it because I love marketing, but we try to like emulate that level of quality with the gear that we have, because like we, again, like this just plays back into how much we just want to do this so much. I mean, it's our favorite thing in the world, so just doing it as best as we can with the stuff we have is super important to us.
Like we'll make cheap fun things to bring to our show, like our CD release show. We made giant cigarettes out of pool noodles.
Yeah.
And that was super fun. And for the song we have, like Smoking Outside, we made big cigarettes and we gave everybody just a bunch of huge cigarettes and, you know, told them to go at it. And it was crazy.
Was beating each other with cigarettes is like a metaphor for how they're dangerous or something.
So very deep.
We ordered a bunch of pizza for a CD release show, and we were trying to just give away pizza during a song about pizza, but
Yeah.
it became a food fight, which was not
surfing a
awesome to
pizza.
clean up, but it was super awesome to see
Yes, because
happen.
obviously you'd be responsible for probably cleaning it up.
Yeah. What's
At your level as well.
right, yeah. It's great being in a punk rock band like that, because there's moments where you're just like, oh, we're fucking rock stars, like food fight during one of our songs. When we get done, we're like, oh, now we have to clean all of this up.
Yeah. The bartender looks
Yeah.
at you and hands you a broom.
Yeah.
Like, all right, motherfucker.
Well, and also too,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys, like you said, you're self-aware. I'm sure in the moment there's like 30 seconds of joy, but then the next two or 3 minutes, like, oh no, this is bad. We're gonna have to clean this up.
The reality seeps in.
It's like any moment of happiness that I have. It's just in the back of my mind, like
It's
gonna fall
reality.
apart.
Yeah, like we filmed a music video at a venue, and we had confetti in the air, and then afterwards they screamed at us. They were like, "There's a no confetti rule," and
Yeah, we had those
you
little
know,
poppers. It
was-
was fun.
it was so like it's so fucking sick for like that 2 minutes, and then when it's over, yeah, get the push broom because we have to clean it up.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I mean, it's worth it for all those good moments.
And I'm sure those small little videos they get, even though, you're making it to promote that one gig, but if it's there and people see it like 6 months later, I'm like,
Sure.
oh, this is cool. I want to follow them to see the next one. Or even if they're just paying attention to the little videos
Sure,
and they
sure,
watch a
sure.
couple of your music, then maybe like, oh, then our CD's up. Oh, okay, now I'll buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's almost like you got to be aware. I'm aware you exist. You aware you exist, and all of a sudden, now I'll buy something.
Yeah,
it-
kind of like a cult following of
Yeah.
sorts.
It take you like motherfucker, I know you exist, and then finally they're presented with an opportunity like, oh, I got $10 in my pocket, sure, I'll purchase this online. It's almost how that goes. But I have to ask the question since we're talking about touring, and this nobody's going to care about this question other than me.
That's the best kind.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who's the wheelman? Who's doing most of the driving?
Oh.
on these gigs?
We actually, for the past 2 tours we've gone on, because we don't have a van that's big enough to drive all of our gear, so our friend Johnny Moss, we've used his van and his trailer, and he's just driven us around the country.
He's our punk dad.
which is like
Wow.
fucking amazing.
Yes,
to
it
have a
is.
driver. Like the last tour, I think I just went in the very back and just slept for almost every single drive that we did, and it was sick. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
You're no different than the guys like in WWE. They have like the tour buses,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a tour bus driver. So they park it right next to the arena, do the show, go out, and then somebody drives them through the night to the next show. Like, unfortunately, I'm usually the wheelman, so that's
Right.
why I was curious. And I've fallen asleep behind the wheel several times, and some of the best sleep I've ever gotten was while I was driving. So,
Yeah, I mean, but we play a lot in
Yeah.
Wilmington or like Atlanta or
That's a good
Richmond,
3-hour
and
drive.
we'll do like the overnight drives after that, unless we find a place to stay. But like that Wilmington drive when you leave at midnight and then get home at 5 a.m. is pretty brutal.
Oh,
I've hallucinated on
It's
that drive.
really
yeah,
really
it's
bad.
really brutal.
There's no-
Especially
there's no
that
streetlights.
last
Yeah.
hour is
Yeah.
terrible.
yeah.
It's just small road, just small rural road. Sucks.
And
It sucks.
you get the stoplights when you get to Moreau, but then even before that, there's that gap there. I remember one time I like hallucinated, and I thought there was a moment where I was driving like, I am the only person left in the world. I don't know why I had that thought. And like when I saw another car come, like, okay, there are other people alive. Like, and I was like, it was mad.
There's
And
like
it's the
there's
high beam battle.
there's no gas stations either.
nothing. There's nothing. And I should be used to it. I come from a town of 82 people in Iowa. So, like, I should be used to it. But I went back there and I took, my buddy Caleb and my buddy Mike Lee. We were driving through doing some wrestling. And I took them there because it just worked out that we could stay there. And they're like, I have never seen any place on this planet this dark before. Because there's no streetlights anywhere. And we're going up through mountains and hills and stuff like that. But anyways, we're getting close to the end here, and I'm not going to let you guys off the hook, especially since it's the 3 of you, but you might end up just consolidating the answer. But basically, it's the whole theme of this podcast. And I lock people in a room, of all walks of life. Politicians, pro wrestlers, comedians, brewers, restaurateurs, all types of different people. And it's just to ask this one question. So this whole thing's been a warm-up just for this one question. But nobody's going to get a podcast that's less than 5 minutes. Trust me. They barely like the one that's 5 minutes long. is to ask this one simple question about this one simple topic. And is the topic about success. Do you know what it is? Are you striving for it every day? Are you obsessed about it? Do you know what it is? Is a dollar amount attached to it? Do you feel like you're chasing it every day? Do you think you'll be happy when you get there? Do you think you'll be happy if you don't? So when I say the word success, what does it mean to you guys individually and maybe as a band?
I love this question.
I can totally answer this.
Yeah.
If you guys want to,
we already sort of.
Well,
did too. Go for it first, though.
Because
Like,
I think I
we're probably gonna have about the same answer, anyways.
I never knew I was going to be in a band, ever. Like I honestly never saw this coming, but I always knew like if I did do it, hypothetically, what I would need to do to feel like I succeeded at my goals. And those goals would be to play with a few of the bands that I really liked. And those are bands we've played with. We've, sure, I'll name them. Big D and the Kids Table, Jeff Rosenstock, and like Joyce Manor. Like being able to play with like bands like that like I was super into in high school and college was just like amazing. And then there was another thing, this festival in Gainesville, Florida called The Fest. I've been going since Fest 9. They're up to 15 now. I never thought I would ever play Fest. We played Fest. And finally, the third one, we just crushed it. We're putting out a vinyl record. And those three things, it's like, I get to play with like a few artists I super love, play the Fest, put out a vinyl. I don't want to say I feel like I'm done, like as far as ambition-wise, but I have gotten everything that I could have hoped to get out of doing this. Like, oh, and go on tour. But like everything that I like wanted to happen has happened. At least everything I thought was an achievable, somewhat realistic goal. And I don't know, it's just really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty much exactly the same way. Like, I was going to say, I feel like I personally feel like successful in the things that we've done, like, you know, playing with Jeff Rosenstock, like, going on, like, a tour, we're about to put out vinyl, like, we played the Fest, like, those things are something I never thought we'd do, and, like, it's crazy.
We're just like fans first.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'll always be humongous music fans before like cool band guys or whatever, because we just love it so much, and like to be able to do these things is just mind blowing.
And just like with our best friends, like.
Yeah, I'll be. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really consider success in it too much. I mean, like, I mean, obviously we're fucking artists, so like I crave validation in any kind of way that I can get it. But I just like making things. Like I just like making music, and for me, it's better to move forward and try and get a bigger audience because it makes the shows more fun. Like, and it makes being in a band more fun because you can get to interact with more people. I don't really see it as like, oh, like if we reach this if we reach this, like then I'll feel like we made it. Like, just for me, like I just want to write better songs. Like I just want to write better songs. I want to think of better ways to perform on stage. I want to like think of better music videos, and like that is going to be unobtainable because I'll never feel like, or at least I've yet to feel like, oh, like I've written, like I've said all that I needed to say, or like I said it exactly the way that I wanted to say it. Like that is almost impossible, and like nobody really reaches that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it's worth doing because you get better constantly.
Well, when you're in the middle of it, it's really hard to see where you are on like the food chain, for lack of better words.
Totally.
And I don't know, like as far as like a personal, like close to my heart, emotional goal, I don't know. I just feel like I just never thought any of this would happen.
Oh yeah,
it's just really I'm just really thankful that people give a shit.
Right. I mean, like Dollar Signs has been a band for 7 years, but like I didn't really stop and consider myself a musician until like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, same.
Like,
thing here.
like it's weird, but it's like it's true. Just because we just like making stuff and doing this.
I didn't consider myself a pro wrestler until like 2 years ago.
Right.
I've been doing it for 13.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny how if you get enough concussions, I'm like, yeah, I think I can call myself a wrestler. I think I heard it.
You got the belt, man.
Yeah, for now. But anyways, this is a live microphone, gentlemen. You're performers. It's the time to let everybody know how they can get in contact with you and discover your music and discover how wonderful individuals you are on the road. So please plug all those necessary links.
Okay. The most direct way to get in touch with us is definitely Facebook. /Facebook is how we usually talk to everybody. So just look up Dollar Signs on Facebook. You can download the one record we have up right now because of reasons on Bandcamp. Bandcamp.com, look up dollar signs. We're on Spotify, we're on fucking everything.
$signs.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
And we have a website that updates with tour dates, and it has a link to our store, as well as like all relevant social media. It's $signstheband.com.
It's that simple.
We're also $signstheband on Instagram,
Yeah.
if you like looking at pictures of dogs and meme flyers.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of this day. I really appreciate the talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you. This was really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thanks.